This is Jason Desch. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go over creating an Azure web job that links in or extends the functionality of a Dynamics application. So in this particular situation, what we want to do is we want to connect to a Dynamics instance and perform some sort of task that is easier to do in an Azure web job or an Azure resource versus having to try and do it in Dynamics. Dynamics, you want to try and set your base. Once you set your base in the Dynamics application, you want to then extend Dynamics by utilizing your Azure resources such as Function Apps and or Web Jobs or Azure APIs. So in this particular instance, what we're going to do is we want to get and or feed data to a Dynamics instance. Now to do that, it's very simple. All we're going to do is we're going to create in Visual Studio a new project. And in this project, we're going to create a very basic console app. And we're just going to say sample web job. I'm going to call it sample WJ. Here, I'm using this .NET Framework 4.71. Depending on what all you want to do with it, you're going to want to include various NuGet packages. You want to include some other things such as the XRM tooling connector, etc. So what I've done to kind of streamline that process is gone ahead and created one for us. And what we see here is that we want to include various core assemblies from the NuGet packages. Now in the NuGet packages, various things we're going to look for. Okay, so the current instance that we're working with is a version 9.0. Previously, you may have been working with 8x. Well, now you're going to definitely, if you've moved into the Dynamics 365 version 9x instances, of course, you're going to want to up your tooling connectors and everything else to go with the Dynamics version 9x. So in this particular scenario, we've got the core assemblies version 9. Now we've got the SDK deployment. We've got the SDK workflow. We've got the XRM tooling core assembly. And then in situations where we need to tie into the Active Directory identity model, we're using that as well. And then we're also using the publish jobs so that we can integrate this with Azure resources and publish this to a respective Azure resource. So, now you can manage your NuGet packages simply by going into the project and manage your NuGet packages. You can browse and once you've browsed and installed your various NuGet packages, you're pretty much good to go. Now, I'm going to leave this at this point here so that way we can pick up in another instance. So pretty much just to recap what we've done is we've created a new console application. As I mentioned, we've created a new project, and this is just a console .NET Framework app. Here we're using the .NET Framework 4.7.1. And once we've created our console application and we've gotten our respective NuGet packages for the core assemblies, the CRM SDK deployment, the CRM SDK workflow, the XRM tooling connector core assembly, which is going to give us various other things that we need to be able to connect to our Dynamics instance. And then as well the identity model for Active Directory, where we're connecting in and using various credentials to publish our items to our Azure resource groups or resources. So once you've gotten to this point, we can look up the next episode. Feel free to subscribe and like my channel. I'll continue to update the channel regularly with updates and tricks. Thanks again for stopping by. Check back soon for the updated version of what we're doing now for the Azure web jobs. Thanks again, and hope to see you soon.